Bill is a retired physician. His layout has been featured in the pages of O-Gage Railroading magazine many times. Bill's a prolific writer and an equally prolific layout builder. Parts of Bill's story will be familiar, while others are very different from the norm. As is the case with most model railroaders, it all started many years ago.
When I was a kid, 8 years old in 1950, most of the boys on the street had electric trains. So for Christmas, I requested an electric train. My close friend had a 4x8, had a Hudson freight set, and had a Santa Fe passenger set. Oh, it was so beautiful. And that's what I pictured for Christmas. Christmas came, there was a big box under the tree. I opened it. Oh my, it's an American Flyer 2-rail Atlantic. Oh, that wasn't what I thought I was going to get. But I stayed with American Flyer from 1950 to 1990. I became a collector of sets, operator of a big layout. My kids, Matt and Kathy, helped me with wiring of the layout, and we had a great time with American Flyer for 40 years.
After 4 decades of model railroading in S-scale, Bill had what became a life-changing experience.
It was like magic. I went to York. I saw Mike's train house set up in the early 90s, and he had this glorious big engine, big wheels, scale engine. I've never seen an engine like that before. It was beautiful. I was ready to change religions. So I left the 2-rail S and switched to O. Every York from there on, I bought another Mike's engine and gradually began the O empire.
Making the transition from S-scale to O was a big change for Bill. In moving to 3-rail O, there were many new things to learn, things that Bill's S-scale friends couldn't teach him.
The Miller Engineering signs, the DCS operating system, TMCC, I needed help. And I fell into a group here in Cincinnati. We are 12, 13 guys. We have lunch together, we go to shows together, we meet and talk. We kid each other about our mistakes and the gremlins that get in our layout and things that go wrong. And these guys charge you up. They get your passion going again. And boy, you start working like crazy. And then you invite them over and let them see what you're doing. And this is what drives us all on.
Bill is very proud of this layout design, and rightfully so. Where did it all start?
It was an empty room. It stayed empty because we had things to get rid of, and this became a storage area when we moved here. And one day, one of my carpenter buddies called and said, I have 2 carpenters. They're framers. They could help you if you have a project. And in 2 days, we had the framework built and the homosote on top of the plywood. So that happened in 2 or 3 days. One of the carpenters was a cabinet maker. And so you will see, as you visit my layout, all the pull-out drawers for transformers and controls. He built those. My track plan was very much a simple loop runner, roundabout. Trains always were in the same place. So I had to contact my O-Gage group. Bob Bertizak and Bob Chapman came over, went through my plans and said, no, you need a siding here. You need a 5 siding over here. You need a place to pull off engines, to switch engines out. I never had switched engines out before on a train. Well, now my 7-year-old grandson, that's what he likes to do. Uncouple an engine, drive it out, park it on the siding, bring another engine in. That's why so many of my trains have a Santa Fe engine in front of Union Pacific cars, because we switched the engine out.
Unlike most layouts of this size, Bill has done almost all the work of building this layout himself.
I have built the entire functioning layout, done all the wiring, again with a lot of help from other people in consultation. The bridges, many of those were built by other people, but when my main source of bridges went out of business, then I started building bridge kits and building my own bridges.
Bill freely admits that he built this layout backwards. Usually, the bridges and trestles used on a model railroad are built to fit the track plan. But on this layout, all the bridges, trestles, and a good number of the structures were salvaged from Bill's previous layout. As Bill worked out the design of this railroad, he was able to work all of the pieces from the old layout into the design of this new layout. Well, all except one, that is. Bill needed a single-track curved trestle in front of Happy Valley, but all he had left was a tall, double-track wooden trestle. Once again, Bill's train buddies came to the rescue. They suggested that he use the double-track trestle, but put a track gang on the bridge, removing the rails and ties from the other main track. Problem solved, and the result is an eye-catching scene not often seen on a model railroad. This is Bill's second big O-gauge layout. The first layout in his previous home was where the idea for Tower City was born. That layout filled the basement, and he had no more room to grow, at least not horizontally.
In 2003, the previous layout, I had run out of real estate. There was nowhere to run more track. I was just closed in. And I decided to build a city with skyscrapers. I collected books and pictures of New York and Chicago, looked at the buildings, and tried to find kits and pieces of DPM, Corber, and Ameritown parts that mimicked a certain building and started building these buildings. I only had a 10-foot area, square area for Tower City, but it took the next several years to build it in. And then I learned about doing interiors through dollhouse shows and doing beautiful interiors and the lighting for interiors and wallpaper. And my wife got into that. She loves decorating, so she's doing the wallpaper and helping me with the interiors. So you can spend a lot of time in a small area of a layout when you build tall buildings with interiors. I wanted the density, I wanted all those people, I wanted taxis everywhere, I wanted noise and confusion, and that's what I have here. And that was the birth of Tower City.
Bill spent thousands of hours over 7 years building this magnificent layout. His passion for the O-gauge hobby shows in every one of the more than 10,000 lights that he's put in the buildings all over the railroad. It has truly been a labor of love for Bill. And there's no question that the crowning achievement on this layout is Tower City.